Okay, so welcome back. So, continuing after the last lecture. So, now in this lecture, what I will discuss is the next part, which is about this crystalline substances. Okay, acha. The crystalline substances. If I talk about last lecture, I talked about the crystalline substances, different crystalline substances which are the nature, okay, nature depending on the molecular things like non-polar, polar, metallic, okay, ionic, okay, covalent network. Here, from now onwards, in next this and maybe couple of lectures, what I will talk about is the structure of the crystalline substances. Okay? Now, the structure is very much important. Hmm? Now, if you know the structure, okay, let's say any substances, if you know the molecular structure, how they looked, okay, how they look in molecular level, so you can easily design, means it's let's say it's analog, okay, and that analog can be helpful in many purposes, okay. Like let me give you an example. It will be very clear. Like solar cells. Hmm? Solar cells is one of the very useful today. It has been a very useful thing. Okay, as you know, because there are limited resources of fuel in our universe, in our Earth. Okay, so solar cell is very helpful, and that solar cell basic is coming from is comes from this solid state chemistry. Hmm? Okay, so whatever you will learn, okay, so it has a huge applications, okay, in everywhere you go, medical field, or you can go in engineering, or you can go in uh, general also if you do research in future. So anywhere it has a huge applications, okay. Acha. So this determination of the structure is very much important, okay. Let's say if you have a biological systems, like in biological systems, the proteins particularly, proteins is basically a covalent network, right? Okay, that protein you can crystallize, right? And that crystal structure you have to solve. Like different molecules, if I say, different organic and inorganic molecules, they also crystallizes. Like let's say in lab, I'm taking it very simply. In lab, if you are preparing sodium chloride, okay, sodium chloride. Now, sodium after preparation of sodium chloride, what you will find? Sodium chloride crystallizes. Crystal. You will find the small, tiny crystals. Now that crystal, you know, if you don't know that, but you don't know the structure, right? What you have to do, you have to solve the structure. So, and what that part I'm talking about is a field of study in chemistry, okay, where you solve the crystal structure, okay, and give the molecular interpretation and the different crystal arrangements, okay. It can be for the proteins also, it can be small molecules also, it can be anything, okay. So, in that field is known as crystallography. Okay, this is a particular field in chemistry. Okay, field in chemistry definitely, obviously from the physics we require the tools. Okay, where you solve the crystal structures of anything. Hmm? Okay, so but we are still in fundamental level. That's why first we will discuss that what is a basic unit of a system. Okay, when I say basic unit, the one thing every time pops in everyone's head, that is lattice. Okay, what is lattice? I will say lattice is a representation, nothing but a representation, like kinetic theory. Kinetic theory is a representation of a gaseous state. Ideal gas is a representation. Okay, so lattice is basically a representation of the solid. Okay, where how will you represent? It is represented by atoms. Okay, atoms, okay, and their connections. Okay. Now these atoms or these points, this is known as lattice points. Okay. And these lattice points can be atoms slash molecules. Clear? It can be atoms or molecules depending on the crystal. Hmm? Okay. Now this is I would say a two-dimensional representation. Okay. Now when I say two-dimensional representation, that means it has to be a three-dimensional representation, right? Because all the everything is three-dimensional body. If I say three-dimensional, let me give you an prop. It will be clear for you. Okay, I'll give you a prop. It will be clear for you. Let's say, think in this way that this is a cubic system. Okay, now this is a prop. Now, if you see in this way, you will find a 2D arrangement. But if I extrapolate this along the board, along the with the perpendicular to the board, you will find a three-dimensional body. Okay. By the way, this is made by me. Okay, this is not anything you will get in the market. So this is basically a sodium chloride simple cubic crystal where anything you can, if you say this is sodium, this is chloride, or this is sodium, this is chloride, they're connected by a bond. This is a okay. Now so this is basically if you replicate, if you replicate the same unit by this your square unit by one unit by with the perpendicular to the board, you will get a three-dimensional body. So now, when I say three-dimensional body, okay, this is number one. Number two, when I say three-dimensional body, so that can be have a different lengths also. Three-dimensional body. Simplest example is a yes, cube. Okay, so paralleloid. Okay, so mm, so it can attain any angles with the means the inter the angle edges. It can have any length of the edge. So let's classify. Okay, I'm just replicating it. So I can draw in this way. I draw. Clear? Okay. Now this is, I would say, is known as one unit cell. Okay, because if I compare, this is not like this way, but if you think that many these kind of things are there here, everywhere. So this thing has all the characteristics of that cell, of the total lattice, right? So this is known as the unit cell. Acha. Now, if I think in this way, okay, like this angle is your alpha. Okay. Acha. If I give the side length, okay, this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay. The angle between B and C, this A, B, C are the basically length of the edges. Okay. And angle between A and B and C is alpha. A and B is your what I've given here gamma, and A and C is beta. So what you have A, B, C, which is the edge length, okay, and alpha, beta, gamma is your interfacial angle, right? So this way, so this thing is known as a unit cell. Unit cell. Hmm. And this unit cell, this is, and how will you represent a unit cell? by their edge length and their interfacial angle. Okay. Now, this unit cell and the interfacial in unit cell, the interfacial angle and the edge length, they can vary in many magnitudes, right? Okay. Now, if I go very earlier, when people were researching in this topic, so the simplest thing what they found out is that let me grab, okay. Okay. The simplest thing what they initially found out is that you have a cubical box, okay, cubical box. Hmm? You have a cubical box, and each box's edges have a atom. Atom. This was this this was your this got very early when people were doing some research in the structure of this. So this is a system where you have a cubical unit cell where A equal to B equal to C definitely, and alpha equals to beta equals to gamma is equal to 90 degrees. Let me write it here. Here A is equal to B is equal to C, which is unit A, say, and alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. Now this case is, I would say, known as your this case I will know as primitive unit cell. Primitive cubic. This is cubic definitely. Cubic. Cubic. Cubic is cubic, and it's known as primitive unit cell. Now, if someone asks you what is the definition of primitive unit cell, you don't write this. You just say primitive unit cell is a unit cell where only the atoms are situated at the edges, like this, at the edges of the each corner, present at the each corner. Okay. So for a cubic, how many you have? 8, because it has 8 corners. Okay. But effectively, okay, I will come that bit later. Okay. So this is a cubic, cubic representation. Now, when I say this cubic this is a primitive representation. That means the all the atoms are at the corners. Okay. Now, this also can happen, right? The atoms are in a center center of the box. Okay. Let me show you a prop. This can be in center. Okay. In a center like this. Okay. Here all the atoms are there, but the center. Okay. Now in this particular case, this is known as, so what crystals you have? First you have a first you have primitive, number one. Number two, what you have? You have a body centered. Body centered. Okay. That's a. Next, what can happen instead of this? Instead of this, each of the faces, each of the faces can have each of the like this. See, in this case, each of the faces has one atom each. One atom each. Okay, one atom each. Now this case is known as number three is your face centered. Face centered, right? So primitive, body centered, and face centered. Okay. So another case also can happen. What case? So this is a primitive lattice. And another case, what can happen here is that at each edges, sorry, one mistake here. Okay, so in between all the edges here, one, two, three, four. So how many? Eight. So you have eight. Oh, sorry. One, two, three, four. So how many you have? Four, four, eight, four, 12. So you have four edges and four edges. So it is known as four. Number four is your edge centered. Okay. Now, based on your alpha, this case AB edge length and the interfacial angle, if you combine these all four, okay, now due to the different ABC and alpha beta gamma, you have seven kind of crystal systems. Okay, what you have is a seven crystal systems, seven crystal systems, and when you combine these four in these seven crystal systems, not multiplied by plus 4 variety. If you combine the 4 variety with the 7 crystal systems, you have total of 14 crystal systems. Okay, you have 14 crystal systems. Okay. See, so why you would expect that it would be 7 fours the 28, but why you have 14? Because all the crystals, the seven crystals does not attend all, does not means make this all four lattice systems. Okay, now these thing, the seven crystals are close variety, the total 14 crystals is one of the type which we am going to discuss in next part is is called the, let me grab it here, it is known as called the Bravais system. Okay, Bravais system. So now what I will do, I will go through each of the seven crystals. Okay, seven crystals, and I will take the four variety. Okay, which of the variety will attend in which crystals that I will say, and I will not draw the structures because drawing the structures which will take a lot of space. Okay, so that you already have in your a in book or the materials I have, the module I have provided, and the examples. Okay, so keep your module with you, and there you will find the figures. Hmm. Okay, acha. Now let me rub this part. Hmm. Acha. The way I will tell you this, and the order also given, the way I will tell you this uh, thing, which is this order of the seven crystal system. So you just bear with me and follow the way, what the way I am doing. If you able to follow correctly, you will never forget. Okay? Acha. Case one. So what can happen? First one. So your edges, okay, edges, the angles. Is it visible? Let me check. Yeah. Okay. Edges, angles. Okay. Okay. And the your mm, crystal, crystal variations, variations. Okay. Mm. Okay. I will draw the structure. I will draw the structure. Mm. Okay. Acha. First, okay. Number one, case, first case. Number one. Okay. Ages. A is equal to B is equal to C. Simple. Let's start with simple. And alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma. This is known as the cubic. Cubic. And what variations it can happen? It can happen primitive, right? It can happen body centered. It can happen face centered. Okay. Primitive, body centered, and face centered. Hmm? Okay. Primitive by P, B for body centered, S for face centered, and E for head centered. Okay. As a structure, how it look like? Yes, so all are regular. Clear? Okay. Number two. Number two. Now see how I can arrange this. Either I can vary this three, or oh sorry, 90 degree. Either I can vary this three, or I can vary this three. Anyway, anyway is possible. Okay. So let's vary first this one. So A is equal to B, not equal to C. But your alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. Okay. So this is what is called, this is a tetragonal. Tetragonal. Okay. So what variations can have? It can attain only primitive and body centered. Okay. So how it is look like? See, A equal to B. That means it can have a square base. Definitely. So it will have a square base, right? Definitely it will have a square base. So just join. Okay. Okay. Next. Number three. Again, alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma. But what I will take? A not equal to B, not equal to C, right? But alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. What is this kind of system? Now see, when I say, okay, what happens in case of number? Your all angles are not 90 degree, but your sides are same. So when I say the opposite, all angles are 90 degree, but sides are not same. 90 degree means that is known as orthogonal angle, right? Mathematics you will know. That's why this kind of system is known as orthorhombic. 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 See, rhombic, orthogonal. Orthorhombic. Orthogonal angle. Okay. Acha. So what kind of it can attain? It can attain primitive. It can attain body centered. It can attain face centered, and it can attain age centered also. Okay. So what kind of a? So obviously you will have a rectangular a basis, and okay, this is orthorhombic. Okay. Now number four, what you will have? Your, so these are done. These are done. Okay. Inequality. Now next, I will take this example. Hmm. Your A not equal to B, not equal to C, and this variation alpha is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, but beta not equal to 90 degree. Okay, so this is kind of tilted thing. Hmm? So this is known as your monoclinic. Monoclinic. So what kind of system it can attain? It can attain primitive, and it can attain age-centered. Hmm? So it is kind of a tilted, like this way, this like orthonomic, but it is little bit tilted. How? That's why I tell you it's very difficult to draw. Okay, this way. Hmm? Number five. Number five. What do you have? In case your A is equal to B is equal to C, but alpha not equal to gamma not equal to beta not equal to 90 degrees. Okay, I'm sorry. Alpha is equal to alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma, and all they are not equal to 90 degrees. Just opposite to this case. So this is known as a rhombohedral. Hedral. Okay, rhombohedral. So what it can happen? It can happen only primitive lattice. So okay, and figure you just check. Figure you can check. It's very tilt. Okay. Awesome. Next, you have what? Six. If your A is equal to B, not equal to C. Okay, and alpha is equal to beta is equal to 90 degree, and your gamma is 120 degree. Now this kind of system is known as hexagonal. Hexagonal, okay, and it poses only primitive systems. So this is hexagonal. Okay, this is the hexagonal unit. Okay, this is 120 degree, and this is known as your hexagonal lattice. Acha, and this you will find in case of the graphite. Okay, anyways, maybe I missed the point of the your different examples, and you should follow. It is written in that module in the list. You should follow. Okay, and number seven, in case you have all unequal, like A not equal to B not equal to C, and alpha not equal to beta not equal to gamma, and not equal to 90 degrees. Okay, here all are same but not 90 degree, but here all are unequal. Okay, so this is known as triclinic. Triclinic. Hmm. And they possess only primitive lattice. And you can see the figure from the model. Okay, now this is a seven crystal system. Okay, now see here the variations. The cubic lattice have variation 3. Tetragonal lattice has variation 2. Orthorhombic 4. Monoclinic 2. Rhombohedral 1. Hexagonal 1, and triclinic with 1. Now if you sum up 3, 4, 5, 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, that's why the 14 crystals system, you have the total 14 in case of your um, I would say that Bravais Lattice system, you have 14 crystal structures. Okay, so that's for all for in this lecture, and so um, the next topics I will cover in next lecture is the next part, which is the different of this part we will talk about. Yes, yes, this part we will talk about in the next lecture. Okay, about the cubic systems. Okay, different cubic systems. Then we will talk about the void, different structures, the packing of the crystal structures. Okay, and then we will move on to the next topic onwards. Okay, so till now, study, solve the assignments. Thank you.